AllReasonNoLogic.
Battle started.
Welcome to the battleground. We are flipping the switch on our 1v1s, now opening up to the series of friends of AllReasonNoLogic. We have Wennira, that unpredictable wild card, who squares off against our regular mate shield TankTom. Our commentary team, I'm Twig. Joining me is Pradith and Bruticus. We're primed and ready to break down every moment, especially those classic slip-ups. Let's find out how this game goes.
Looks like we're going to have a vehicle versus bots game this time round, with TankTom in the red trunks starting at 20 OS, jumping into a Cortex bot lab, and we have Wennira in the blue trunks jumping into Armada vehicles with a 17 OS. This map is a nice and symmetrical one with lots of high ground and lots of paths to traverse. The middle ground, though it has a lot of metal, is somewhat of a trap because the high ground positions are quite good at raining down fire on them. The most direct path is over the hills and up and down these mudslides, I guess you could call them, with the geos just above those positions. So very vulnerable geos, but a risk-reward right there could net you a lot of energy. Each corner also got a geo, which will help supplement the energy, but on a map like this, with a 6.6% wind risk and a max of 20, wind is going to be the most common play, maybe some consistency throughout.
Just on that 20 OS that Wennira, sorry, the 16 OS that Wennira has, or the 16.67, does mean he's actually not played a competitive 1 versus 1 game. So maybe a better reflection of his skill is his 8 versus 8 OS, which is, I believe, is around the low 20s. So maybe a fair matchup in terms of the OS there.
So to start with, we've got a couple of rovers that have looked up to this ramp, but unfortunately it does not look like they can make it up there, so they're going to have to go the long way around. Plus side is they won't run into those two grunts that were about to intercept them, so probably better for them that they didn't go up that hill.
I do like the bot start on this map over the vehicles, just because you've only got that one path of travel, being through the middle, and we've also got that early game eco advantage by not having to spend the extra, what do we got, 100 metal for that vehicle lab.
Not to mention the construction bot is 120 metal versus the construction vehicle, which is 135, which doesn't seem like a huge amount, but it does add up in that super early eco moments.
Yep. Rover making it to Tom's backlines almost, but not being microed.
Yep. But there is another one sitting there ready to go in.
There we go. Let's see where we get.
Yep,
no defense on this side. I wouldn't be surprised if we lose a mix.
Yep. TankTom tried to get a pawn up the mudslide on his side, on Wennira's side, but stopped by two blitzers. Good use of those to block off the passages. And while that is going on, Bruticus, you've played a bit with Wennira, a lot of versus AI games, and last night we also were part of an 8v8 with him. What do you think what do you reckon the odds are here? Nope, doesn't look like we've got a Bruticus. Alright, Bruticus appears to have dropped. So Twig, what do you reckon the odds are in this matchup?
I really don't know. I've seen these guys both play a lot of versus AIs, and our Kings of the Hills, they've both been part of all of them so far. I do think maybe Wennira has a little bit more experience in the game. However,
but I think
Tom's 1 versus 1s is much greater. Probably be able to answer that question in about 2 minutes once we see how much the economy expands for both these players. I can see that Tom's only got the one constructor walking forward, whereas looks like Wennira had two. No, just the one as well. No expansion of energy from Wennira.
Yes, that's the big one. 23 wins for TankTom versus the starting 6 of Wennira. So the energy economy is At the moment, not too bad because energy is high at 14, but as this ticks down, TankTom is definitely going to be falling a bit ahead. He's been capable of spending all of his metal compared to Wennira that still has a bank of about 320.
Wouldn't mind to
But
see a transition into the bots rather than the vehicles.
yeah,
Can the vehicles go down the hill? It looks like they can. They just can't go
believe
up.
they can. Yep. And it looks like we're about to see that as a blitz heads. Ooh, is that intentionally stopped or just positioning? We'll see in a moment. But yes, the vehicles definitely limit your mobility a lot in this map. So, despite them having the good firepower and in particular blitzers having the fast speed, it will be difficult to do a lot when a lot of the map has to do with verticality. Well, actually, to be honest, it's only one section. It's those two ramps. So if you're able to control those ramps, then the vehicles may well have an advantage. Currently, though, TankTom is definitely slipping ahead with that eco with a couple extra mexes up and definitely going with the more wind. We've just got some solars coming down and 6 extra winds from Wennira using his comm to get those ones up. So bit of a stalemate at the moment until now, where TankTom pushed in the bottom corner with 6 grunts, managed to lose 2 of them for 0 blitzes, but one of the blitzes very heavily damaged.
2 blitzes. Oh, sorry, 1 blitz went down.
1 blitz went down.
It was actually Wennira that pushed into Tom.
And then we have Tom pushing into 2 blitzes at the top. 1 blitz down, and the surround certainly allowing for a lot of extra damage onto that second one. Good trade for TankTom, those blitzers being a little bit more expensive than the pawns, but if they go up that hill, they will fall to the LLT.
I think Wennira is really feeling the bite of these 1.7 mexes on the field.
Yes.
Also not capturing those 2 up the hill that Tom's now captured.
Yeah.
Tom yet to still capture 1 down south, but these commanders heading there now by the looks of things.
Mm-hmm.
We are seeing a little bit of a eco pull ahead on both metal and energy now, with Tom bringing in 4 of his 6 converters online. So he's converting that greater amount of energy into metal.
Yep. And his builder is currently set to get that geo, so he's going to be pulling well ahead in the energy game once that goes up, or even further ahead.
Big ball of grunts down here, 14 of them, going to be assisting the 5 that are already on the front line, so that's going to be 19 grunts. I wouldn't mind seeing a strong push out of Tommy. Might be able to find an early win, but we do have 2 Janus, which we do know if those grunts are bowled up, we will be decimated just by a single hit from those Janus.
Definitely going to be at least an interesting engagement, if nothing else. If it happens, I think that if it happens in range of those LLTs, it'll be a Wennira victory. If it happens outside of those LLTs, it'll be a TankTom victory.
I do like that Wennira is putting down the Geo. Tom hasn't gone for that yet. That could even the battle playing field with energy, because that will bring in the 300 energy difference that they currently have.
Yep. Going to have probably a 15%. It's going to go up about 15-20% faster. Build power.
I do love this. Sorry, on the right hand side, Tom has a grunt going just to scout, so I think he's trying to feel out where his best attack positions are. He's going to come across the wall of LLTs, and I think that might put him off of running all those grunts
up there. Great call there, because definitely don't want to fight under the power of those LLTs.
I wouldn't mind seeing a switch to some. He's going to the thugs. I would have liked to see some aggravators. I know he's got a mix, but 10-5.
Yep.
Ratio.
TankTom getting his commander to help with the Geo build, so the Geo is definitely going to come up faster for TankTom. Nice.
That was all done after I predicted
decision making there. And he's also got those extra build turrets up now, so his units are going to start pumping out, and he'll be able to consume all the metal that he's generating. What he needs now, though, is more converters. And to get those 2 builders out on the map and stealing more mexes. Even if you only hold mexes for a short amount of time, they usually pay themselves off. Engagement happening at the front, TankTom losing a lot of those grunts to some great micro out of Wennira, getting those Janus right on target and soaking a lot of the shots with the blitzers and the stouts. So that is Tank Tom's
Actually,
grunt army
I think he
down.
lost 1 unit in that engagement.
Yep.
I think that was
Great.
19-0.
Great micro.
I'm going for the T2 transition. He does
Not a
have
good
the...
time for that, but those are vehicles, which means they have to travel. They have to go the entire way around the map. So, very much so, could be a good time for that. If during the T2 transition, I think TankTom needs to stop building units because he's currently zeroed out on metal. So every bit of metal that's going into those units is metal that's not going into that T2 lab.
Yeah, I agree. He
And
does have enough
considering
metal in his army, at least, to defend from what we can see on the field out of Wennira, so long as
it's in position.
yeah, it doesn't get taken down that hill, and then we get a reach around from Wennira.
Yep.
Nice snipe of those 2 constructors. That does hurt when you lose those constructors on the front line.
Yeah,
No
I
more
definitely wouldn't
expansion.
have sent both of those down to the low ground. I would have sent one to go round from the top and one to go the direction he did send them. But right now, Tank Tom's army is going to be behind Wennira's, so if Wennira chooses to push into the base, that could be a problem for Tom.
Tom now reclaiming his T1 lab to afford that
Yep.
T2 lab. What's his wind income? He's looking at 1.2k.
He's got a good, yeah, he's got good energy.
Not even converting everything yet, so he's hoping to get a few more of those up. He's taking his commander down to reclaim a little bit of those metal. Oh, no,
He's
sorry,
actually
to build.
reclaiming a build turret.
Never see
Interesting
that at
decision
Tom.
there.
Usually see him with like 15 build turrets on the front line and nothing else. Where'd those Genesis go? Here we go.
Alright, so Grunts have now seen Wennira's army. The Blitzers look like they might be trying to push through for a bit of a run through. And the Pawns getting in on those Janus. Janus should be able to fire again before one of them goes down. Yep. So no losses there for Wennira. Couple for Tank Tom. Tries to push up. Tries to get something done, but
I'm loving these shell shockers up on the edge of the hill just to put Tank Tom off of pushing too far with his army.
Yeah,
He
and
knows
that
that there's
army
vision
is now
just by shooting down there. It'll put that hesitation in Tank Tom's mind.
Yep. And that army is now quite far out of position. All Wennira has to do is push in, and Tank Tom may or may... if he keeps getting those fiends, he'll have enough to defend. More units coming out for... More tier 1 units coming out for Wennira, getting a lot of energy converters, though it doesn't have the energy income to support that at the moment. 4 build turrets consume a lot of energy. And even when you see they're reclaiming trees in between, they're still not able to pop those converters open.
Quite a formidable force coming up on the right hand side here. I do think there's enough for Wennira to stop that, especially with the Janus.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a couple
and
of
the
Janus.
Warden coming up. If the comm went out and helped the Warden, I would definitely like to see that happening. But Tank Tom getting himself a formidable amount of fiends to defend as Wennira's units start pushing their way in. Will run into 2 thugs, and that alert should tell Tank Tom that he is under attack.
Who will hit first? Looks like Wennira's pushing on the left hand side. Tom's not quite microing his army. I don't like that Wennira took his defensive army ahead of the LLT line. It is good to make sure that those LLTs are engaged. Here we go. Takes out a mech, takes out a unit, but now here come the fiends, and I don't see... I mean, the Janus, if microed properly, the Janus can do a lot of damage.
Doing the exact right thing here. Wennira is sending his blitz up to that high ground, spreading all of his units out, forcing Tank Tom to split his fiends up and chase. But the fiends only have a speed of 83 compared to the blitzes of 99, so you just won't catch those. He can get a lot of damage.
On the right, we've got the thug pushing through. I don't think it's going to get there.
It's not going to be enough.
Those stouts are just
going to keep harassing them. And with more units... Oh no, T2 lab coming down, so units have stopped, but yeah, not enough to push on through. Tank Tom needs to get some of his T1 builders out onto the field, or his commander out onto the field, and retake all of those mexes.
Wouldn't mind seeing the Control D from Wennira just with these units that are in the back line, just because he knows he's probably not going to be able to get them. Having said that, he did get 1 blitz through. If he can go park that up on that Geo, but can the unit drive up there by hitting F2 or F6, depending on your grid setup?
Yes, it can. It'll be slow, but it definitely can. Unfortunately, with that Sheldon, it is going to fall. Ooh. terrain working to its advantage. It's definitely going for that Geo.
Maybe if it parks on the other side. Yep, I
Yep,
like
and
it.
Wennira's parking it on the other side, it might actually get that Geo. No.
Too much damage. A little bit
Too
of
much
self damage, but halfway. It's a good attempt. And on the other side, we've got Fiends pushing through now. But nice placement of those Dragon Claws doing a lot of damage.
Yep, but still, Fiend's very, very strong. And he's pushed through all but one Dragon Claw with just a handful of Fiends. So great little bit of damage there, opening up an attack vector if he needs it. At the moment, income heavily in favor of Wennira, unless TankTom is reclaiming. But he has got his comm walking around dealing some damage. TankTom sending in...
The eco, sorry, is in favour of TankTom at the moment. Wennira's only just set up his T2 mexes. So we've got approximately, what's that, 15 more metal coming in? And that's because
Wennira must have been reclaiming at the time that I looked, because he was up at, he was up at 90 for a second. So...
that would be healthy if he could maintain that at this stage of the game.
That would be quite healthy.
I'd love
TankTom,
to see
though,
Arbiters out of
T2
TankTom.
Grouped up and ready for an attack. Looks like he's going to try and use that area that he already opened up. And I think that's a pretty good spot to attack because it exposes the Geo very quickly. And a lot of players on this map will be relying on that. We also see TankTom's comm going around and rebuilding a lot of those mexes that were taken. I want to see all of them rebuilt in short order.
I love the use of the Jaguars now. They are a great unit for defending a lot of that early T2, and they've got quite a speed as well at 90, almost keeping up with the Blitz.
Yep.
We'll be able to catch up.
They also have an anti-air attack, which means that if the opponent tries a sneaky air transition, you have some AA already on the field. So a great little fast reaction unit.
Sheldon's taking fire from those shell shockers. I don't know if Tom can see that. I'm slowly weaning it down. Every little bit counts. You got to make sure you keep aware.
Yep.
Tom's still with majority of controller on this field, but I do feel Wennira is on the road to catching up, especially with those units coming forward. I don't see much that Tom... I mean, he'll be able to build units between now and when he gets them out. It's just going to be the fact that he can't climb up those cliffs.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if some termites were built by TankTom now? I don't think that would be predictable. Oof. A single termite would take out that hill.
On a map like this, I would definitely end up building just a single a single termite and just send it straight to the Geo. The twin lasers that it's got absolutely shred.
Wennira not using all his builders to build this turret, and we're going to see, I think, everything here fall, and we'll see the windfall too.
That's a lot of Dragon Claws. I like the idea of smaller attacks, but TankTom knows these are defended positions, so he's definitely been struggling to get up there. But Fiend with the crazy fast damage getting right in on that Geo, and there's nothing in place that's going to be able to stop that. So TankTom definitely going to take out that Geo. And it looks like he might even be able to get in on that wind, or the constructors, depends on what he decides to hit. Constructor's not a bad choice because it stops him from building any new units in that area. More Fiends just about to back up these Sheldons. So even though Wennira is going to get the Jaguar onto the Sheldons, the Fiends should be able to clean it up. And that is still some firepower in the back lines for TankTom getting up there, and the Fiends now getting onto the Overwatch. So definitely took some metal losses to deal that damage, but now there are units in the eco. Jumping down to the middle of the map, we have one Jaguar backed up by 8 Stouts that are trying to push in. They managed to snipe some of the Sheldon reinforcements, but they're going to run into units streaming on through. TankTom needs to stop these units from engaging one by one, collect them up, and get ready for a defense. He's already got units in at the base. He's already taken out a huge chunk of the energy income. It's very likely that Wennira can no longer sustain this level of T2 production with all the energy destroyed. All he has to do is survive this next push, and he'll be in a dominating position.
Wennira cloaking his commander at the moment is using up a lot of that energy. Would like to see it uncloaked. Just what is it to cloak a commander again while it's stationary?
Is it C?
No, as in how much does it take? I think it's 100. It's either 100 or 300.
It's 100. But it looks like TankTom is going to clean up these scouts, these stouts. Good D-gun and a fiend boxing one of them into the corner. Good little micro. Another little push coming up, but that's
Ooh, I
only...
completely missed a air transition.
Yep. So these
Gunships.
are gunships heading on in, and TankTom has nothing to deal with that. He's heard the transition, and he's building himself some thistles. But with that one going, with both of those going down and enough to actually out damage the gunships, that's a lot of damage that's going to fall on the comm. He needs to help. He needs to help build that and get some of those down.
He needs T1s going up only. I think this is a good
Unfortunately,
game. Wow.
that looks like it's going to be a comm snipe for Wennira. That's a good game and a good air transition out of Wennira.
I was surprised by that one. Fantastic first game by Wennira. First 1v1 game, in fact. It was definitely in TankTom's favour for the entirety of that game through eco and both map control, but you can just see how a decision can change the outcome of the game in doing that air transition that we all missed. Absolutely fabulous.
Yep. Going to drag those players back in and get their take on it.
Looking at
TankTom,
the
unexpected
statistics.
air transition. What a way to go.
Yeah, that was well played. As soon as I heard the air transition, I was like, I don't have anything to deal with this.
You dropped down a flak just because you had the T2 there, but that time for it to come up probably would have been better to drop down just the, I forgot the name of it, the second worst.
Thistles, or even just a couple of extra thistles.
Yeah.
The T2 builder plus 4 T1 builders is more build power than the comm, so you would have been able to get a couple more up and potentially able to save yourself. Wennira, interesting choice going with vehicles with such a vertical, with a map with so much verticality, but great transition over to air. What made you decide to do the air transition?
I think it was mainly because I was getting overwhelmed by fiends and so many fronts to fight on, so I was thinking of going with an air raid. Well, when I then scouted the commander, I was like, that's a kill.
Yep.
Yeah,
A very good call, very
going.
smart on how you did that one.
Good decision making.
Well,
yeah,
that was
and
it.
also great,
Tom, you
great
were
engagements.
you were ahead on eco the whole game and map control. So that is the perfect time to do an air transition if you got the feeling that there is no anti-air there. And go for the comm snipe. It's a bit of deja vu from one of our free-for-all games, Tom, if you remember, when I was boxed into the corner managing to snipe your comm. And just unlucky there.
I think part of it is because we turned the air off for the AI games. I've gotten out of the habit of building anti-air everywhere.
That is fair enough. Well, everyone, thanks for watching that one. We hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you like and subscribe. And if you'd like to drop a replay or join in one of these games, join our Discord. The link's down